Hey, good, beautiful day, you beautiful, beautiful souls. Today is Wednesday, April 26th, 2023, and this is Charla Anderson, host of the Charla Anderson Show, collector and connector of fascinating people. And everyone is fascinating, especially you. We are on this extraordinary platform, winwinwomen.com, winwinwomen.tv. And, we're streaming live now on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, soon to be on podcasts with Podetize all over the place. You'll find all the replays on charlaanderson.com. I am doing an Overcomers series, and it may be the whole theme. I love, love, love that we have an amazing amount of people that I personally know that are miracle survivors and have done amazing work with their lives, overcoming things. Every one of us is an overcomer, and some of us have big old stories to share. And I'm very honored today to have you listening and you with us today. And if you will hold on till the end of the show, till the end of my conversation with JoAnn Reyes, the founder of the Hope Center, we will have a live conversation, and you may be able to join and ask questions. Feel free to join, to put things in the chat, as well as in the maybe Facebook comments as we go. I'm not live on Facebook as we are right now, but every time I don't know why I started this, but I love that I started having a breathing exercise, a mini meditation at the beginning of every one of my shows. Today is no different, and it's 22 seconds to center, to breathe, to feel, to get some calmness in. So we're going to do a 7 seconds in, breathing in calm. We're going to do a hold for 4 and 11 seconds out, breathing out gratitude. So will you join me with that? Here we go. Breathe in calm for 7 seconds. Hold. Breathe out gratitude, release. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We are now more centered, we're more grounded. We can feel more confident. And that's I just love that. You can do that anytime, day or night. Anytime you feel stressed, it's a great mini meditation right there in the middle of the day. So we're going to talk miraculous healing today. And my guest is JoAnn Reyes. She's the co-founder of the Hope Center in Fort Worth from decades ago now. And they feed thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people every year, and actually every week, I believe. We'll find more about that. She's a tireless leader. She's the most humble, hardworking, committed, bold faith person that I know, and one of my favorite mentors. JoAnn, I'm so grateful to have you with me today on the Charla Anderson Show. Welcome, welcome.
It's good to be here, Charla. It's always fun to be around you and to be a part of what you're doing.
Well, you've done, years ago when we first met, it was a miracle for that. Everything, I think, is a miracle, including this today, because I called you and asked you to be on my show, and you said, I've been wanting to get back into this on the stage, on the public forum again. And here you are calling me after I've had a year of recuperation, right?
Yes, I have. In January of 2022, I had a stroke, a very serious stroke. And so I've been recovering from that ever since. Yes.
Just over a year. That's amazing. And you look great. You've actually got, we're just thrilled that I know the world was praying for you. I'm certain of that. You've been a prayer for others for so many, many years. You're such a delight, a calm, influence, and have never, ever, ever, ever given up on your bold faith, on
Thank you.
overcoming. And you guys have overcome so many things since I met you, which I think was in 2010, maybe somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there, huh?
And that was a miracle story how I found you guys, and kind of through Jeffrey Larson, I believe. And amazing time that we've had together, sporadic as it is sometimes. But so let's talk. Let's go back in time a little bit, because so much of your history is building. I mean, you guys were in ministry for how many years now? 40, 50
Over
years?
50, over 50
You were
years.
born in
Born in
ministry,
ministry.
basically.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so you've been in ministry for so many years, and I just know that that bold faith requirement to just keep pushing through and overcoming and finding the right niche, which I feel like you guys have done an amazing job. So just, you were born in Tennessee, you got a master's in theology, I guess, or
Religious education,
religious education from
Mhm.
Southwest,
Southwestern Seminary.
where you met Mr. Orlando,
Orlando.
Pastor Orlando, right? Our everybody's favorite pastor. And from there, you guys just went on ministry. I mean, I think Orlando knew from day one that y'all were getting married, and you were shocked. I
Oh
remember some of
yeah.
those old
Oh
stories.
yeah.
But I tell you what, there's two couples in my life that I have learned that bold faith message, that bold faith. Who I am is bold faith, no fear. And the reason I can say that is because of you,
Thank
primarily, you and Orlando primarily. And
you.
so
Thank you.
please, um, let's go from there. You got your master's degree, you guys got in ministry, and you were doing whatever the Lord led, right? So
I was teaching school, and Orlando was finishing up the seminary. And then he got a call from Kenneth Copeland's office to come by the office, and they were looking for someone to work with Kenneth, and someone had recommended Orlando. So I quit teaching school, and we went with Orlando. I went with Orlando, and off we started traveling the United States with Kenneth. It was an exciting adventure.
I've as all and Orlando was hired to be an intercessor, just
Yeah.
praying
Yes.
for 8 hours a day is what I understand. And that's pretty remarkable for anybody to do that. So, and then you ended up building coffee shops, and
But then,
or they
well,
were all ministry led. And during
yeah.
the revival, it was revival
Mhm.
time, right?
We are experiencing that now again with the Lord moving on college campuses the way he is so miraculously. And back then we were traveling with Kenneth, and we began to see that out in California, the Jesus movement was being birthed. It was people were they were having mass baptisms in the ocean, and all kinds of people were getting born again. And they were wearing bumpers, stickers, and buttons on their shirts, and they were walking the streets. It was the Jesus movement was started, and there was all types of ministries and homes and Bible studies, and different ministries are springing up, coffee houses. And so we were out there in the middle of that, and the Lord began to show Orlando that we needed to have that here in Fort Worth. And so he came back from there, and we started the Cornerstone Coffee House ministry. And it was amazing. The anointing of the Lord was so powerful during that time. And we met it was an old nightclub. Orlando had a vision of where we were supposed to meet. And I recognized the house. He described it to me. We went over there, and it had been a nightclub. And so
the Lord works crazy, right? He doesn't, he uses people with skin on, he uses real
right.
people. And I'm going to add right here, because people, we're not talking religion here. We're not talking the God in a box, religious program here. No, there's no religion involved in what we're talking about. We're talking about hope and bold faith and healing and overcoming. So I just want to throw that out there in the beginning. There, God doesn't have a box. He
No, he
uses
does.
all of us with skin on, and we have a miraculous number of miraculous stories to tell about that. So you guys ended up starting Without Walls Church. This was where I met you, and you say the church has no walls. It's the people
Yes.
in the streets,
People in the streets, right?
and then you started this. This is the most amazing thing to me. You started the Hope Center in the Without Walls Church. And how many people a week do you guys feed? And how many people a year do you guys feed physically food?
Well, we don't provide the food hot. We provide the groceries for people. They come to our center and we provide groceries. And oh my, it's amazing how I don't have the most current figures, but there's many thousands of people come to have get groceries for their people, for their families. And we're just amazed, how the Lord has raised it up and helped us be able to do that, because we found that many places have food in their warehouses that they need to move on because it's, getting dated or whatever. They need to move on before it gets out of date, and they need a place to move it to. So we began to contact these companies and say, we are a place, we would like your food. And so we have lots of donors that helps us have food, and then we are able to give it out to the people in the community. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
It's been going on for how many years now?
Around 20 years.
Wow. And I've been there, I've witnessed it. It's amazing. You also provide job training in this place with forklift training and
Yes,
cake or bakery training and things that are needed, and people need skills and an income, and those have been extremely successful, right?
Yes, it has. And we found that people who are down and out, many times they just need that door to open, to give them an opportunity to step into their next phase of, to step out of the pit and into something that's blessing them. So
a hand up, right? Not just a hand out, but a hand up too. And so
right.
You guys are so great at that. And I witnessed personally in this, I walk into that Without Walls Church, and it's just an old warehouse. You've made it as beautiful as you can. And it's just, you just feel the spirit going on in there, and it's beautiful. And the miracles that I personally have witnessed and you guys have witnessed, and literally raising the dead, even almost, people coming from, and I would include you in that in this last year. I also witnessed some miracles in the food. I remember one week you said, okay, next week is Thanksgiving. We gave out all the tickets for the turkeys, but we don't have any turkeys.
Yeah, yes.
Oh, and how many turkeys did you get?
Oh, several thousand turkeys.
Exactly enough.
Just enough. Actually, it was more than enough. We had plenty of turkeys to give to people. And
you were doing it in faith. Here's the ticket to come get your turkey next week. We're doing it in faith. We don't have turkeys, but we expect to have them. So that kind of brings to me to where we are in this little, this conversation where bold faith, speaking what you want. Jesus says, ask, believe, receive, right? Ask, believe, receive. I don't think Jesus said, beg, 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 beg. I don't think he said, please, 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 God, please, please, please help me, heal this person. No, I was taught differently. I don't think that we need to beg. I think we ask. And the belief is believing that it's already done.
Yes.
And open to receive it. And I do believe some of the religious upbringing that we've had kind of didn't teach a lot of us that. So when we ask and believe that it's already done, we receive, and we just release it. That's another thing. We ask, believe, do what needs to be done, and release it.
And that's what I've learned during this new adventure or new journey that I've been on. That healing, I've had a lot of experience through the years of healing, and I pray and ask the Lord to heal me from various things. But this time when I woke up and had a stroke and ended up in the hospital, and it was very serious. They didn't think that I was going to make it, and they called all of my family in and so forth. And when I woke up in the hospital, all my grandkids were there, my children were there, everybody was there to say goodbye. And I was, I'm not ready to go anywhere yet. But anyway, they were there. And I began to realize, that something was changed. I couldn't move my limbs, my body, I couldn't speak very clearly, and I couldn't see very clearly. I thought, oh my goodness, what is this? And the Lord began showing me that I had to have a new kind of experience with him. I had to receive from him. I asked, but you don't just ask, you receive. And I began to realize my new mission with him, our new relationship with him is learning how to receive. I knew he had, he was a healer. He healed all kind of paralytic people and people that had, paralysis and so forth in the Bible. I knew it was for me, but I just couldn't I couldn't figure it out in my head how he could heal me. And the Lord said, you've got to start receiving, and you've got to quit doubting that I can do it. And so I began to listen to the Lord, let him show me where I was doubting. I was full of doubt. Oh my goodness, even though I'd been in ministry all these years, I was full of doubt about my healing. And I began to wash my mind out and realize that in my mind, whatever you think, he says, whatever you think, so are you. It's your thoughts is what makes you. And I began realizing my thoughts during that time was very negative because I was scared. I was afraid. I didn't want to be an invalid. And the Lord helped me realize, change my thoughts around and give me the thoughts that I needed, which is his word. And I began to find the words that comforted me and helps me to see that my thoughts could be his thoughts of power and change my circumstances.
Well, you saw, I think you watched my program a couple of weeks ago with Michael and Gail, that he had. I was like, I watched that heartbeat. I thought, if God can create it, he can heal it. And we have to start feeling that, recognizing it. If we have it, if we have a breath, which is the breath of life, which is God in us, the I am coming in us, and what we speak after I am is who we are in that moment completely. So we have to be careful what we speak.
Oh yes, our words
and every word matters. And that's my whole, this whole journey I'm on right now, is trying to help people understand that you think, oh, well, this job is killing me. No, don't say that. Don't say what you don't want. Right. So here we have, that's a whole bunch of what I'm trying to share in this show. And you witnessed it firsthand. And so I saw today on this, it's I have to look down here in the light, but Matthew 9:29, according to your faith, it be done to you, right? According to your faith, it's done. And why don't we do it? Why aren't we taught that? Why?
And when I was Orlando, got the TV fixed where I could hear the TV because I couldn't see. I couldn't move. My limbs were paralyzed at the time. I just woke up in this world where I was trapped in this body. And I recognized I was trapped in the body. I couldn't move my body. I couldn't do anything with my body. And the Lord gave me some teachers, Joyce Myers and Andrew Womack, and different ones began to teach me that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So I had to quit thinking negative thoughts.
Well, we've heard that verse all our lives, right?
Yeah.
But
I really had to quit thinking.
You learned it. Yes. You lived it, right?
Because I was thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to be an invalid forever. I was panicking. I was concerned. Couldn't move or do anything. It was the strangest feeling I'd ever had. It was to wake up and all of a sudden I couldn't function. And then as I began to listen to these programs on TV, because I could hear it, they began, quoting all types of scriptures, and begin to realize that Jesus is with you everywhere you go. He's the Lord says, I'll never leave you or forsake you. I was feeling like he had left me, but he didn't. And I began to just meditate on who he was and begin to get my mind to think the thoughts about what he promised me. And for one thing, I began realizing that my mind was full of doubt, which I didn't think I had doubt, but at the time, because my circumstances were so overwhelming, I was full of doubt. And I had to just address that doubt and really, get my mind full of faith and begin to read the script. Hear the scripture. I couldn't read it, but I could hear people talking the scriptures and telling me, no, you are what you think. I am your healer. I'm your deliverer. And, it's in your mind.
And it's in your heart, and it's in your vision. See, I think that's the piece that most of us don't recognize. Jesus said, you can do what I did and even more than Jesus did. Now, most of us know his miracles and things like that, but he said in John 14:12, we can do what he did and even more. And what I believe we've missed in a lot of our traditional religion is, how to do that. And the how is to, thank you. It's all about gratitude. Every bit of it. That's the key. That's thank you. And thank you that it's already done.
Yes.
Live as if it's already done.
Yes.
See it as already done. That's see things as seen, that are unseen. And you start visualizing how it's going to feel when you can walk, or when you can hold your grandbaby, or when you can step out and do your ministry, or whatever is most important to you. Right. So did you start doing that, the visualization?
Yes, I did. The thing that I was learning as I was listening to the teachers and trying to deal with my thoughts, because my thoughts were just, bombarding me in the wrong direction. I was having to take control of them, because you have to just say, quit. You're not thinking that. I'm not letting you think that. My mind was just going crazy. And the thing that I began to realize was that, the thoughts that changed me was his awareness that my imaginations is where it starts. I had to change my imaginations, because if you have negative imaginations, you're worrying, and that's where I was. But change your imagination to positive imaginations, and positive imagination gives you hope. You're thinking in the future without hope. And this is what changed my concept of the Hope Center. The Hope Center is a place of positive imaginations, of giving hope to people. And as you meditate on that positive imagination, I was meditating on my getting up, being able to get out of the bed, do things with my grandchildren, being able to play in the park, I was all these imaginations I was having. It was positive. It was an effort to think those thoughts and have those imaginations, because my body was screaming at me saying, that's ridiculous. You're never going to do that. I said, no, this is what he's telling me, and I began to just keep thinking these imaginations. I even thought about standing and speaking in women's conferences. I would see myself on a stage speaking to people, and was really interesting. It wasn't too long ago that I had been asked to speak at a women's conference, and then today I was asked to speak on this platform. It was just amazing how he's changed these imaginations, because it's where your thinking starts. as you
It becomes
man
possibilities. I mean, you think of
possibilities
what's
thinking.
possible,
Mhm.
and you believed it for everybody else all those years. You believed it for everyone else. I
Oh
know
yes,
that.
yes,
And having to shift Deuteronomy 7:15, you shall be free of every disease. Why don't we believe that? Why do we think we
yes.
have to do all these outside things and believe things outside of us are going to, when we've been given this incredible
Oh,
immune
and yet
system?
the Lord has given us that. You've given
Yeah,
us
and
the,
we must recognize that we have everything inside of us. We've been gifted that, given that. Why don't we act like it? Why don't we act in bold faith? Why don't we believe that we are more powerful than, because God is in us? We breathe in the breath of life. Why don't we believe it? I do believe a lot of that is because you know, if all of us believe that, then there would not be need for a lot of control, right? And in the government and all that kind of stuff. They can't really control people that believe that they can be healed and can do all things and even more than Jesus did. So that's just kind of another take on
and
that.
one of the things that I began to do, really know, I knew this in my head, but somehow it hadn't gotten into my heart, was that my healing has already been provided for me. You know, I wasn't waiting for God to heal me. He was waiting on me to receive what he has already
That is
paid for.
so key. Oh my God. Say that again.
I wasn't waiting on God to heal me. He was waiting on me to receive it. And I began
Gives
to
me
say,
chills
Lord,
just hearing that.
show me how to receive my healing, Lord. I'm just laying in the bed. I was all, I'm able to do anything. And he said, you've got to receive your healing. It's just like salvation. You had to receive me as your Lord. For me to be your Lord and to save you, you've got to receive your healing by faith. And I really meditate on that, struggled with that for a while, but finally I came to the place saying, Lord, I know you're my healer. I know you took the stripes for my health, my healing. And in faith, I received that healing for me.
And I
And
lay it at your feet. See, a lot,
yes,
then we don't have to beg, but please, please, please. No, it's thank you that it's done,
yeah,
and then
thank you.
release it and
Mhm.
receive it.
Right.
I think that little piece right there is this big of a stumbling block for people
Yes.
that don't understand. And they're, if you, the more you focus on what's wrong, the more you get what's wrong. The more you feel upset, the more you get upset. The more you complain, the more you get what you are focusing on. And it's so simple, but we haven't been taught, or
Mhm.
we might have actually been taught wrong. We certainly haven't been taught, this message very clearly.
Well, this message is a message that my husband has taught for years about, receiving from the Lord and walking in it. But somehow I had missed it or something, because I kept thinking healing, it was in the future. I had to wait for it to come. And the Lord said, no, the healing is already yours. You're just waiting on the manifestation of it. And the healing is yours. Grab it and accept it and trust me to manifest it in your life. And it was just, it was really a big
Was it
thing.
a split second moment that you recognized that, or did it kind of evolve as you started
Well, I
living in
kept
it? Yeah.
I kept listening to this programs about you've already got it. It's a program that was on TV. It said you've already got it, and was talking about your healing. I said, I have it already. Where is it? I can't move. Where is it? And the Lord began to show me, you got it. The Lord gave it to you when he took the stripes on his back, just like he gave us salvation when he died on the cross. He didn't have to die again for you to receive salvation. You'd accepted it. And so he said, your healing is the same way. He doesn't have to take stripes again for your healing. You just accept it. He's your healer. And so we had a lot of people praying for me to be able to do that. And the whole church was praying for me. Orlando was praying for me. It was amazing. But the Lord just had to turned that switch inside of me from fear and
Doubt.
doubt. And he told me, he said, "You are doubting." He said, I couldn't do anything in my hometown because of their unbelief. He said, "You have got to believe this and accept it." And it was really just a struggle in my mind and my heart. And then a lot of people were praying for me, and Orlando was laying hands on me and praying for me. And it's amazing how it just began to happen. I began to believe it, and it began to turn around.
That's when it changed, when your belief changed, right? Something is coming to my mind that Orlando preached. I mean, his messages have always been, God said we can, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just a matter of fact, and he accepts it. I accept it as well. But he talked one day about having authority. So authority, Jesus gave it. This isn't arrogance that we can be healed. It's authority that we can be healed. We speak in the authority that we have that. And he was talking about nobody would go in the backyard or someplace because this big old dog or whatever. And he just took what
authority
he called authority, walked right through. Those dogs didn't bother him at all. I don't remember it doesn't matter the story, but and what I did the next week, and I remember specifically, I thought, I have authority over me. And I was sitting on a front porch in this little house, and mosquitoes were crazy. And I took a video. I don't even know if I ever told y'all this, but I took a video of the mosquitoes swarming all over I said, no, I have authority over my body. And I took this video, is like one or two would kind of touch, but they didn't land.
Wow.
And so I was like, whoa, it works. This was many years ago now. So if it works for dogs and mosquitoes, which are out there, we can do, imagine what we can do when we literally see it as already done. I have so many people I know personally that literally have been on their deathbed or dead. And when they shifted their mindset and they said, no, I will not let those thoughts in. I will not let that negative energy in. I will, in fact, I know people that have removed people from their lives that are going, oh, well, you're just, no, you're healed. And from debilitating, horrific, accidents and have metal all in their bodies and stuff, but they chose to do that. And so, this show is, typically we do around 30 minutes or so of chatting and having our conversation, and then we can open it up to people that may have joined and have conversation or questions that they want to ask. And it's already, I told you it was going to go fast because it's already after 1:30 here, right? So we're just gonna bring this segment to kind of I'll just wrap it up and bring it kind of to a close, and then we'll just hang on and see what happens. We'll see. We'll keep the recording going and may or may not use that portion of it, but we'll see. And there's so many nuggets here, and I am so incredibly, I love you. I'm so, when it came to mind that I'm going to do these overcomers, and I was calling you, not knowing you'd had the stroke. Because I know you as an overcomer. I know you have bold faith. I know all that. And now it's to a ratcheted up level because of your own life and your own experience here. So what a gift to me that you've chosen to spend your time to share. And I know you were on stages anyway, all those years. I've always sat at your feet listening to your teaching and loving your humbleness, your hard work, and your faith. And now it's so beautiful to see that you've overcome this horrific moment it was a moment in your life, and and miraculously, it's miraculous healing.
Yes, it is miraculous.
You can't call it anything else.
Right.
And you are 100%, you're not, I would say you're 100% healed, because you've got a few more little kinks to try and get that walking a little better, but otherwise you're healed.
Yeah, I'm a healed person. Yes. And the
And you're
manifestation,
walking in it and speaking it, which
and I'm walking
manifests it.
in. Orlando and I walk over a mile a day. I have my little crutch with me to help me be stable, but he walks with me and we're walking it out. But this is my time to lay hold of the promises that are mine already. And I'm not going to let go of it. And devil, he can't hold me down or us down, because we're determined to experience the fullness that God has for us.
And I'll be 70 this year. So you're in that age range a
Yeah,
little.
I'm
Yeah.
that age range. I'll be 80 next in July of this year. And so can you believe it?
Wow. So you're a decade ahead of me. So yeah, and you look amazing, and
Well,
you
thank
are
you.
amazing, and you give. You're such a most generous giver and a most excellent
Thank you.
lover
Appreciate
and of people, and I've witnessed it so many times. And you put bold faith and trust in people that don't necessarily receive it well or use it well, and you just it doesn't make you stop loving them. You continue to put out there and help them grow.
Thank you.
And even if and I know many times you've been taken advantage of, but that doesn't stop you. That's not what we're here for. We're here for to not get our feelings hurt because somebody did something, but to continue to love. Unconditional love as God loves. And gratitude is the key. Forgiveness is the key too, forgiveness of ourselves and others, and God. That's another key, but another story for another day.
Another story for another day. And we all are challenged to wash our minds out, wash our thoughts out with the word. I've known the word for years, but somehow I need a fresh bath of my mind with the word, just to rinse out those negative thoughts that come against me and make me think that I can't do something, or I'm going to be stuck in this body. I'm not stuck in this body. No, in Jesus' name. So.
Oh, I hear Orlando back there. He's in there. Awesome. So we're going to just shut this part down, and I just want to say, how do they find you? It's Fort Worth, fwhope.org, FW for Fort Worth, fwhope.org. And I'm sure you're open to donations for that incredible work you guys are doing. But for people to understand how beautiful that is in our city, in our community, how much blessing you have done in the poor, some of the poorest of the poor communities, and love them in every step of the way. So I always end my show. Thank you, JoAnn. I love you. Do you have any last message?
No, I think that's it. I just want to encourage people to don't listen to their own self and listen to the negative talk, but force yourself, cause yourself to turn it off. You have to be the one to turn it off and take authority over yourself. Take authority over your mind, and take authority over the devil trying to make you think you're less than what God has given and provided for you. Because God's provided all this for us to enjoy. It's up to us to take it. We have to.
There is no lack. I mean, I'm like, I ain't skinny. I'm provided for. So there is no lack in this world. Right. So I just we're going to shut her down as far as formally, and then we're going to go ahead and continue recording and maybe have some conversation with some folks. So thank you very much, folks, for joining us here on the Charla Anderson Show. Look to see you every week as we continue overcoming and learning how to overcome and being overcomers and examples of overcomers for others. So thank you very much for our time together, and always remember, choose joy.
Choose joy. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to, I think I've seen some comments pop up. I don't watch them live because I can't see them anyway. So in the chat. So what have we got here? Do you mind if I just kind of look at this chat a second and see? Sounds like Okay, so my guest last week was Shantae. Oh my goodness, she's an overcomer, and we've had a great time and great reconnection here. So it sounds like a Paul experience. God is beautiful. What type of things did you start doing to change your thinking? Okay, so we're going to ask some questions, JoAnn. Do you mind answering what kind of
Okay.
things you?
One thing I did was I got some earbuds, some good earbuds for my phone, and I found the scripture on my phone, and I began to let it play in my ears because I couldn't read, I couldn't see anything. I was trapped. The only thing I could do was hear. And so I began to let the scriptures just, go in my ears and listen and flush out those negative thoughts. And then I began to listen to teaching about healing from Andrew Womack and other people, Orlando's teaching and other people about healing and how to receive. My problem was how to receive it. I knew it was there. I just couldn't get it in myself. So, but the word is what gives you the power. Always gives you the power. Because God is He created the world with words, and He came to this earth as the Word, and He gave us then the words to stand on.
And every word matters, and that's
yes,
where I wish we could just shake people and go, stop
yes.
speaking death over yourself,
Oh, that's
speak
right.
life.
So I had to change my words.
And then she said, she loved the part about imaginations, and that's so true. And um, where your thinking starts. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that is. Shantae, do you want to unmute and ask some of these things or have a conversation? I don't know if you're available to do that. She's a paralegal, works full time, so she might just be doing on the side here. She may not be able to do that. Was there ever a point when you were upset with God for striking your body?
Well, first of all, He didn't strike it. It's the enemy that comes against us, and he comes in to steal, kill, and destroy. God is my only source of hope. He's given me the power to attack him, the devil. We were in a fight. He gave me an armor to wear in this fight, and he knows we are going to fight the devil. He knows how he can help us win.
Well, but our tendency often is to get mad at God, not get mad at the source of the
He
fallen
certainly did.
world.
He certainly didn't give it to me. He protected me and had people praying with me when I couldn't pray. My whole church was praying for me. We had prayer teams everywhere praying for me, and Orlando was praying for me. I mean, they stood in the gap for me when I was out of it. Didn't even know what was happening.
I love that we've got some good questions. How did your vision of God change from the way it was before your stroke to after?
Well, I think I'm more at peace that He loves me and He's got me and He will never leave me or forsake me. I don't have to beg Him to do anything. I can rest in Him. And I guess my concern is just to take authority over all the negative things that try to steal what He has for me.
So you have the before and after. We're talking about before and after. We cannot be, that might be S, huh? Be before the stroke and after the stroke.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So you're like been renewed.
Yes.
Person, right? How beautiful is that?
And I'm still walking out my healing. The Lord has also told me that faith without works is dead. So I've had to get up and walk when I don't feel like walking every day, but I get it. My husband helps me and he goes with me. We walk. We're walking out this healing that God's given me. And in the rehab, I just didn't think I could do the things they were asking me to do, but you just have to, faith without works is dead. I just did it in faith and said, Lord, give me the power to do it. And so my body began to respond.
And I like this. Shantae asked, do you think before your stroke, you were a doer in your personal life of the word or just a speaker of the word? And now it has changed since your what is like a resurrected life, right? So as you were
Well,
do you believe you were a believer? You are a believer. You've always been a
yeah, I
believer.
was a believer, but I'm a different type of believer now. I'm a
Exactly.
fighter now. I'm a fighter. I'm not letting the devil steal from me. I saw how he comes to steal, kill, and destroy. The enemy is after our what God's given us. And I'm having to learn how to fight and how to take the things that God's given me. It's a gift, but it's not mine until I open it up and take it. I have to do my part. He's not going to force me to
You
get
can't
healed.
if I give you a present, if you don't open it, it's not my fault,
Right.
right? So that's the truth.
Well,
And
that's one thing he taught me is you said, I can't force you to be healed. I can give it to you and you can receive it and walk in it, but you're the one that's got to do the walking. You're the one that's got to do the putting it into practice. He said, I can't put it into practice for you. I'm not going to do that. It's your part.
we're taking our part, and we're learning that. And when what I've learned too in the last really fairly short term is um we deal when we deal with what's so, because it's all we have, right? All we have is
Mhm.
what's so
Yeah.
right now. We
Mhm.
we so often think, or thinking back here for the past or what we're going to do in the future, but really all we have is this moment right this second. That's it. We don't have last second. We only have this second to take the next step from. And when you deal with what's so, it may be horrific, and it may be, it may be joy, whatever, but when you're dealing with what's so, then you're we always say be present, right? Be more present, be present
Mhm.
mind, be in the now, those kinds of
Mhm.
things. But
Mhm.
I never understood how to do that. And so being in the now, being in the grace, being in the spirit right this second, knowing, being present so you can literally
Mhm.
hear and receive
That's right.
word in every split second. It's a new training, it's a new mind, right? You got to learn to do that, because we're always this little monkey voice, Charla's chatter, whatever this thing is that never shuts up, is not necessarily in your favor. It's not,
Well,
it can never do anything that's in the future. It can only do what's in the past. And so I think uh it's it's important that we
mhm.
try, or that
Mhm.
I don't even like the word try, right? So that we choose to, and it's all choice. We choose what we focus on. And when you
Mhm.
start focusing on healing, start focusing on
Mhm.
what it looks like, what it feels like
Yeah.
to be healed,
Mhm.
you can't help but draw that to you.
Mhm. Mhm. And it's amazing how you just part of the healing is resting in the fact that God's a good God, and that He resting in my faith in Him. He's not going to give me healing and not let it happen. I mean, even though it didn't happen, you know, completely like I would maybe like for it to. He said He would. It's an ongoing thing. I'm going to need Him all the time. I'm going to let Him work in me all the time. He is the healer. He's a God of His word. And so I'm
And we
experiencing.
never stop stubbing our toe or hurting our, I mean, he heals all the time. The paper
Mhm.
cuts, he
That's
heals
right.
little things. Our body is
Mhm.
given all of that. And I would love it if we shifted the language of our culture
Mhm.
to take out some of these words that we don't want, these disease words, perhaps the C word. Maybe if we stop talking about it, stop claiming it, it doesn't mean you don't do
Mhm.
what needs to be done. but you stop claiming it. And when, perhaps even for you, what if we stop saying, oh, I had it's like I'm being healed
Yes.
continually
I'm
over
a
an
survivor.
incident. I'm a
Hmm.
survivor over an incident, and quit claiming what we don't want.
That's right.
So, I mean, I'm talking to myself every time I say things like that, right? So that's a huge blessing, and you have so much more to offer and give, and to
And
you've been a standing, I mean, since 2010 or 9 or whenever we first met, you've been a constant, you and Orlando, that steadfastness, that tireless knowing no matter what happens that you're okay, and that's just raised to a whole new
yeah,
level
yes,
for sure.
that's right.
And I know Shantae said she loves it. You were truly amazing. What a great testimony. I know that I wish I could see these easier. And she says, great show. She had to jump off. So thanks for our openness being truly beautiful. And I hope that or I hope that this makes a step up for you as well.
Hmm. Hmm.
That we
Yes.
can, I believe ultimately we'll be having little snippets of some of these conversations, and I can, we can use them as, little uh, promotions for ourselves. I mean, you are a speaker, you are and now there's no stopping you.
Mhm. Praise the Lord. I receive that.
And that's right. We got to
That's
receive. We got to receive. So when somebody told me in 2007, you're a clearing for miracles, I was like, okay,
mhm.
I'll
Yeah,
receive that.
that's
Why
right.
not? And I do believe every breath we take, every single breath we take is a miracle. I
Hmm.
think that you stop to figure out how all these cells and things, and my little 17-month-old that's always here, and you look at her little fingernails and you're like, how did this how does this happen? And she went from this little thing to this little running around everywhere thing. And what does it happen? And it's just miraculous to me when we stop
Hmm.
and consider the divine in us that
And one
happens.
of the things that it's so, and I know we know this, everybody knows this, but so important is worship. The worship music, it kind of washes out the negative. And that's the reason why it's so important. My Sonia would bring me, my daughter Sonia, found really good songs that just was pertinent to my condition. And as these songs would play and I would listen to it, it was just like it was washing out my mind of negative things and would help me realize, this is true. This is true. It's a fight. It's a fight to keep your mind stayed on Jesus. Because if you don't, the devil right there to talk to you and tell you your feelings, what you're seeing, he wants to bring up everything to look at. I don't want to look at this. I want to look at what the Lord's got for me. And it's just a real fight.
And garbage in, garbage out, the old
Yeah.
computer slang. And my
Mhm.
kids had a little tape that garbage in, garbage out. What you input is what you're coming out. And there is a lot. In fact, we are inundated. Our world, our media is inundated with fear and negativity and hate and judgment and all these things that are not us, that are not the truth. But
Mhm.
they if and I just say this, if you have 1 ounce of fear, it's
Right.
not of God. Because love and fear are the opposites. And it's not love and hate, it's love and fear, because hate comes from fear. But if there's an ounce of fear, other than healthy fear of a fire, something, uh, we there's no we focus on that fear, and we continue to input it, and hear it, and we just don't think it affects us. But I guarantee you, as a society, look around, it has affected us in a big way. And so fear and confusion and division and divisiveness and judgment and all those crazy things going on. And I am outrageously, and I say it every time, outrageously optimistic that our world
Yes,
is
you are.
getting better. And I have never wavered from that, have I? Our world is
No.
getting better, and things are going to are going to balance out, and we will find the beauty, the Garden of Eden coming in back again that we have, but it starts in here. It starts in here.
Yes.
So JoAnn, this has been amazing. I'm going to have to, and the time always just goes fast for me. And I just would love to be back in your presence. And I'm so grateful beyond measure that you survived and that Orlando has you still and your family, and they came from all over the world, Australia and New York,
Yes.
they came from
Every,
all over, and
all my kids came. Yes, they came from everywhere,
and they're beautiful, beautiful family. And your testimony will live in infamy. I'm telling you, you've got a legacy beyond legacies. And I thank you so much for joining me today, being my
Thank you
friend and my guest and my pastor and my mentor.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a joy to share the goodness of the Lord to everyone, because he is so good. His mercy endures forever. And he is our God. Yes, he is.
And we're fwhope.org is how we find you. So love you much, JoAnn, and we'll be in touch. Okay. Thanks so much.
Thank you.